Good afternoon on a beautiful fall day at the Learning Center in Gothenburg, Nebraska. We're finally able to get into those corn and soybean fields. We got a high pressure system sitting over us, and so it looks like for the next week to 10 days harvest is going to be able to progress pretty significantly. And so we need to be keeping in mind though as we get out into those fields that we might run into some problems, and some of those problems may actually be weed control. And so when I'm out here at the weed plots that Carl Coburn, our weed management TDR over in the combine, is cutting, you know, there might be fields where we don't have quite as good a weed control as we expected, and we really need to be mindful of how we're going to go through there and harvest those fields. If we've got big weed patches out there, well, let's go around those parts and save those for the end. Try to minimize carrying that seed throughout the field. If we got a field that has quite a bit of weed problems, let's go ahead and harvest that one last if possible, because as we all know, we've got some resistant weeds out there such as Palmer amaranth, tall water hemp, and kochia. And so if we've got those weeds out there in those fields and we go through there and harvest them with our combine, we're all familiar that the weed seed is very small, and so we come up here on this on that Palmer, and you look down here and we've got some very tiny black seeds in there, and so those can get stuck up in the housing unit of those combines and can be very difficult to get out. And once we spread that to other fields where we've got that don't have weeds as problems, now we're going to be introducing a weed seed that's got the genetics to really cause some resistance to occur out in those fields. And so again, taking some time, driving around those parts of the fields that are extremely weedy, harvesting those last, and then if we can, if possible, go through there and harvest fields that are a little weedier than we'd like, harvest those last, and then clean the combine after we're done harvesting those fields is important, because again, small seeds like the kochia and the Palmer amaranth and the tall water hemp are going to get caught up in that combine. Larger seeds such as your velvet leaf and your cockleburr and things like that are not going to be such a problem to get cleaned out, but those small seeded broadleaves again can get in a lot of different crevices in the combine and can be really problematic to clean out. We'll talk to you in the future about you know, after we harvest those fields, what are some things we can do in the fall and early spring to control weeds. But right now it's about minimizing the spread of those weed seed into other fields. With that, we thank you for your time. We'll talk to you in the future about other agronomic topics. This video was produced by the Bayer Crop Science Water Utilization Learning Center near Gothenburg, Nebraska.